All right, everyone. Hello. My name is Per, and this is going to be an in-depth guide on turtle soup. Essentially, I'm going to be going over what the turtle soup is, how I use it to find the best entries, when to find high probable turtle soups, and I'll also go over some examples from some of the trades that I took and how they involved the turtle soup, and also how you can combine entry models with this to find high probable trades. So let's just get right into this. So, what is the turtle soup? Turtle soup essentially is a false move below a low or a high. In this case, I'm going to be drawing at a low. So, for instance, we have our old low here, which contains what? It contains, if I can draw for, or if I can try on this here, for some reason I can't. Okay, here it contains buy stops, right? So buyers have their stops below this low. It gets targeted on time. Now remember, I'll go over timing in the future in the next sections, but for now we're just understanding what the turtle soup is. A dip below, an alt low, and then a move onto the other side to distribute. What this does is, in ICT's words, it induces traders into taking positions uh, and thinking there's going to be a breakout, for example, in this case, a breakout lower. But in reality, this is just a turtle soup to offer buy positions so it can expand price higher. That is essentially what a turtle soup is. Now, if you go in the charts and look for an example, if you go in the NQ chart, the futures chart, for example, a really clean example would be right here. You can see we sweep this low just to distribute higher. Now we can do this again right here. We sweep this low just to go higher. Right again, we sweep this low just to go higher. Now we don't expand all the way high, but you get the idea, right? And again, in this case, we sweep aside just to move lower. Sometimes it doesn't work, but we will go over that on why some don't work and some of them offer high probable trades. Let's go back on to our drawing. Now there's another side to turtle soup. Usually when you watch people talk about what a turtle soup is, we're talking about a false move to take traders out and then distribute into the other side. Now, this in itself as a concept is true in theory, but my view on it is different. So let's, for example, take this low as an instance, right? So let's say this low, when this low was made, the price was $100, right? This this low here is $100. That's what the price of this low is, right? So let's say here is $120, price dips down to $100 right here. It accumulates in the middle, which kind of goes around. Here, price dips below the low to $80. What does this mean? If you're looking for buys and you're bullish, this all comes from bias. So you're bullish, right? We had a bunch of other price action here, whatever, right? That led to this moment. This does not matter at all. I'm just saying that currently here, the price that is low is $100, and if you are bullish, you have a say a higher time frame strong liquidity, for example, here, right? And we want to get there. We're not just going to buy randomly around here. We need to find levels where it is cheaper for us to buy. This is where premium and discounts come in, right? So around here, price is just dancing around it as I said before. So like for example, let's say here it is $120. We don't want to buy in between of these. Why? Because we are not below any lows. Or in other words, price is still on premium. And here though, we dip below an old low and create an entry model. For example, we create an IVG here. We displace a previous bearish PD array and turn it bullish. What does this mean? We've dipped into a premium level, displaced it, retraced into it. So, and here, prices and discount. And here is where the market makers or, I don't know, banks, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they're buying. Why? Because they don't want to buy when price is expensive. They want to buy when price is cheap. Or on the other hand, they have a discount. This is essentially what the turtle soup runs on. It dips below levels to offer cheaper prices. Let's go back on the charts real quick. if on the NQ futures chart. I personally don't trade futures. I just use it for reference because it is a cleaner chart. In this case here, we can see how we made equal lows here, inducing traders into going short, thinking, oh, this is going to be taken out. We go up here. Now this is a range, right? But we can also take this as an example here. What do I mean by this? This high here, this old high acts as a premium level. You can see the price here, right? The price is 19,850. We dip above it. Price is expensive. 19, let's say 19,900 is rounded up, right? 19,900. That actually perfectly lines up with the high of this candle. If you look, perfectly right there. What does this mean? That means price is expensive. This is where you want to short. For below an old high, we go back down, below an old low. Here, that's where people start to buy. Why? Because price is below an old low and it is cheap. What happens afterwards? Distribution higher. So we can see two turtle soups here. Each of them have a different function: short, long, distribute. Let's say here we know the day is going to be bullish, or yeah, but let's say for just example, we have an old high up here, right? I don't know if we actually do or not, but I'm going to take this high, these two equal highs here as an example. These would be our targets, right? Right here, if you look at them, two equal highs here. Price wants to reach into those. It first has to offer discount prices in order for buyers to get in, so it can take them higher. This is where market makers, banks, whatever, uh, all that fucking fairy bullshit, those kind of people buy here to take price higher. That's what the algorithm does. It finds cheap and expensive areas. For example, in this instance, cheap prices takes it higher. Again, here, cheap below an old low takes it higher. Again, here, cheap takes it higher. Expensive takes it lower into a cheap level. It's literally, we can see how this happens every single time, right? So here, we want to take this low out. We first must take a high out to offer expensive levels, and then take that into where? Anode low to offer cheap levels. That's basically how it works. That's the idea behind this. Now I'm going to go over timing and how to pair time with this to find high probable entries, right? So let's get right into that. Now this is a long that I took, or sorry, a short and then a long that I took. Before we get into this, and I gotta go over why I took this trade and how I implemented the idea of turtle soup into this. First, let's understand timings. So as we know, market runs on time. Everything is programmed to run at a certain time. For example, if you go right here, we can see, okay, the market wants to move lower. When does it start moving lower? 9:30. Now, how do we use this into our trades? There are certain times in the market where you can look for high probable buys and high probable sells. For example, let's go back in time into one of my trades. Right here, where somewhat I implemented turtle soup. So right here, let's mark this old high out over here. That in itself is a turtle soup. Why? First of all, we sweep an old high. Doesn't matter what we sweep it here. In this case, we swept at a 4, which is not a highest probable timing, but then you may ask, why are you showing me a timing that is not high probable? Because this does not mean that you can't find entries. You can find entries using time. Our target would be this old low, because high, expensive prices, take it into where? Cheap prices, right? Right down here. Let's go over in here into this price section. I usually wait for 9:30 to find my entries. That's the near session, the opening price, whatever. We have this old high here. Does it get swept? No. Is there an SMT here between these two highs? Yes. On S&P, if you were to look at a chart, this high was swept. Is that a turtle soup on NQ also? Well, no, but here's the thing. S&P and NQ, they are correlated. But in some cases, a high gets swept on one chart, and it does not get swept on the other. What does that mean? That means that they are moved differently, and it's a strong sign of a continuation or a reversal. In this case, a continuation. Why a continuation? We sweep this high here, which is also the Monday highs, and and price wants to go into Monday lows. So what does it do? It tries to reach for the SI, takes it on S&P, does not manage to reach it on NQ, which is good for us because that means NQ is weaker than the S&P. What do we look for? We look for entries now. Why do we look for entries? All right, let's just forget about SMT. Let's think this was not here. Let's say that. All right, let's in theory NQ swept this. Imagine this high swept. What happens on 9:30? 9:30 opens, wicks above, and it sweeps the high. Just as an example, it didn't actually sweep it, but I'm trying to show you an example. It sweeps the high. What does it do right after? Displays lower. What does it leave behind? A gap. That itself is an entry model. We also have this like breakthrough level here, which could use as resistance to go lower. But this is in itself is an entry model. This here is a turtle soup, followed by an entry model, a displacement lower into retracement, into what? This gap. That also resides into the 50% of this whole range. So if you want to find the best entry, this would be it here. Why? Discount, premium. We want to go short, into premium. What does it do right after? It drops lower. What does it create right after? Another turtle soup off the slope. Now, does it leave behind gaps? Yes. Do we really get entries here though? No, sometimes it gives you no entries. Now here the timing, 10:45, or sorry, 10:42, still a really good time to find entries. Because remember, if you're new to ICD concepts, then you should learn about the power of three. If you're a little bit experienced, you understand that this whole move here is a manipulation to then distribute higher, as it does over here. So 9:30 starts this move lower, which we know is going to distribute later on. So this here is a manipulation. 9:30 manipulates lower to take this low, takes it, and then wants to distribute higher. Now here, we have a turtle soup of this low. We can see it swept. Does there have to be an SMT? A lot of people say that, oh, I don't trade if there's no SMT, whatever. I respect that, but you don't always need it. This in itself is a very clear setup. So we create this low here, then we sweep it, and what do we do right after we displace higher? Into what? This breaker. Now, did I take a long here? No, I didn't. What would I lie? I did not take this. If I were looking to take a trade here, but first of all, I wouldn't have here. If I took this short, I would have been out of the charts already. But in hindsight, we're talking about hindsight here to kind of learn, right? How are we looking to find entries here? One really good entry would be this inverse gap. We can see how it displaces it, taps into it, and goes higher. Or maybe you use breaker blocks like I do a lot. So maybe your breaker block is like this. You can see displaces it, taps into it. All of them are correct. There are many different entry models to go with this. I personally would have just marked this out if I wanted the entry, or I would have marked this out. It really depends on the context or the person. Some people like to use IFVGs. Some people just like to use breaker blocks or just an FVG, right? It all works. All that matters is time and an understanding of where are we in the day. So again, let's go over this one more time. This whole price action, we speak Monday highs on Tuesday. All right, we know Tuesday is manipulation, and we know Monday is accumulation, so we sweep the highs of Monday. That's a turtle soup. Why? It lies. It deceives you into thinking it's going to go higher. Look at all this up move. What does it do right after it displaces lower? 9:30 hits, it sweeps this high. Does it actually sweep up the NQ chart? No, it creates an SMT, which is a very high probable confluence that price is either going to do what? It's either going to reverse or continue. In this case, continuation. Taps into the gap, runs all the way down. 10:45, 10:42, whatever. Still, we can look for entries. Why? Why can we look for entries? This is where it gets interesting, right? This whole high time frame accumulation was a part of a hard time frame manipulation. Here we're looking at this and we're like, okay, we set the highs over there on the lower time frame, right? On the lower time frame, we want a distribution lower, manipulation, distribution lower. On the higher time frame, this is just a manipulation. We have our highs here, both get swept. That's the manipulation. Where does it want to distribute? Higher, and that's exactly what it does. We can see just how simply and easily we found the highest probable and the lowest, the best possible entry for this whole up move. The lowest, the best, right there. Now, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is a trade that I took. I did not take this. Once again, I trade 930, and this is the short I took. If I actually go in here, I think, and not sure. Okay, it's under paper trading because the last month I've only been paper trading, not already taking any trades. Live, just kind of taking a trade from breaking. Not sure why it's not showing me my execution labels, but I did take a short here. I'll actually try to find a screenshot of it, put it on the screen right. And this is the trade that I was talking about. We can see this is the same price action right here. And this is the execution. You can see I took a short there, although I did get out at 1RR. So around right here was where I got out. The reason for this is that while I was actually trading this, seeing all these wicks come back up and close above lows, that literally did not look good for me. Other than that, so I just decided to just get out, play it safe, don't want to lose profits. 1RR was already enough, so that's pretty much it. That's what I got out. Now I'm going to go on the charts. Going to go over one other example now. Since this one is kind of it's from I'm pretty sure 2 weeks ago. So right here, and I'm going to just go right over it and explain it. So here, if you zoom in, you can see just get my so we can see 930 hits right around here, right? If I can just let me just properly draw this. So 930 started around here. First, we got a little move down and then a move up right here, sweeping this, creating this gap. My short, like very short-term bias was right below these two equal lows. Now, why is that my target? Because time is fractal, right? So if you're on the 1 second, these lows are like the daily lows to you. It's fractal. It price runs the same that it does on the 1 second, the same way it does on the 1 minute. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, all right, these lows are basically like daily lows. If you're trading the 5 seconds, so I target these lows in my short right here, thinking I have manipulated over this high, created a gap, and then we created an order block right here, which is where I took my entry right there on the wick, targeting these lows. That was like a 1RR by itself, pretty fast short trade. And then I look for my higher time frame long because what I'm seeing is all right. If you go back in price action onto that day, we can see price was accumulating and it started to distribute higher. This was on a Wednesday. Price started to distribute on the Tuesday, targeting a higher time frame high right here, like a weekly high, I believe. And I don't know why this is drawing it so big for some reason. How do I make this smaller? I don't really know. Doesn't matter. So what I saw is I have these two lows. What time is it? What right when we're over here, when we're down here, what time is it? The time is 9:50 to 10:10. That's the macro timing, the hourly macro timing, where it is higher probable to look for reversals and continuations. So we sweep these 9:50 hits. We are between 9:50 and 10:10. That's the macro timing. What do? We displace this gap. I think this is how you make it smaller. There we go. That's better. So we displace this gap right here, right? Use it as support to go higher. As soon as we displace this gap with this green candle right here, the next candle that it taps into it, that's where I take my long, right? My stop right below here, targeting the higher time frame high. I will go on the chart to show you this on a higher time frame. I can't go back on the 1 minute. The chart does not allow me to, but this was pretty much my top prices, and this is how I use turtle soup. This move here, this right here is a turtle soup. Why? Let's draw the pattern out. Sorry, I had to pause for a minute. As I was saying, this here is a turtle soup. If we draw this kind of formation out here, we can see this is kind of what we see. 930 right here, or right around here. Right? This is where 930 opens. We sweep this high right there. We go back down, sweeping but this low and this low. We sweep these. We have a gap right here. We'll displace that, tap into it, continue higher. This is basically like what I showed you, right? So I don't even know how you close this fucking thing. Wait a second, there. So to go back on the charts, and go into 15 minutes, and come to this drawing that I previously had drawn. I think it's right here. Yep. We can see it's pretty much the same thing, right? So two equal lows, low we sweep, we make a turtle soup, and first fair value gap, take it hard. In the case of what I just showed you, the price action is right here. We can see exactly what I talked. So we can see. Sorry, I had to pause again for a moment. Again, these highs respect manipulation, and then it starts distributing. So it was not on Tuesday. I was wrong when I said that. But this is Thursday, where we are obviously distributing higher starting on Wednesday after sweeping this low here. We did sweep this on futures. I don't trade futures. But just so you know, we did sweep this. It's just a little fucked on my chart. So I apologize for that. But this is essentially what it looks like, the long that I took on the higher time frame. So this right here, look at it. It's exactly here. These were the lows I swept. Went inside this gap. Didn't sweep this low. That's completely fine. But if you were to mark this out, right? If we were to mark this gap out, we can see it did tap into this gap. So what did it do? 930 started. Manipulated lower a bit. Swept some liquidity. Tapped into a discount PT array. If we go into 1 minute, we are discounted because we are below this level. So sorry for having to pause a bunch of times. But that's pretty much it for the video. You get the gist of the idea. Just to go over it really quickly. How did I use Turtle Soup? I use it based off of discounts and premium levels, bias, and time. Most importantly is time, because you see a million Turtle Soups every day, right? For example, you see this here, or you see this here, you might be like, alright, what if it goes lower? We can like literally look at this right here. So we sweep this, and then we create a few wicks here, and then we sweep this again, close, and then we start moving down. We're like, oh, this should go down, but time is not right. Time is not right. It's not there. Alright, and your bias is also wrong. So you have to align all these, and then it allows you to find the best entries. Anyway, that's it. That's pretty much it for this video. You can see the trade that I showed you before. The execution is actually showing up for some reason. They didn't show it in 1 minute, but got out of 1 hour as you can tell. But the bias was right. We took this all the way lower. But yeah. Here is a trade you can see where also I pretty much got at only 1 hour. Turtle Soup failed for me. I disrespected some of my rules, but it happens, right? So that's pretty much it. If you want to learn more, for example, if you want to learn bias, I have a video for daily bias on my channel, and I have my Discord. You can find that in my bio. If you just click my channel and you go into view channel, whatever, it's right at the top. If you've got any questions, comments, I'll answer them all. Thank you for watching this, and this is pretty much it. I hope this has helped you.